How's it going, folks? It's been a while. It's been a while since I've seen you or spoke to you. It hasn't been that long, but I didn't go out on a trip last week, so I haven't posted a video because, hands up, if you've been raking leaves. Yeah? You? You too? Yeah, me as well. It's that time of year. That's why they call it fall, right? Because the leaves fall off the trees and then you have to spend all your time raking them and putting them on the curb. Well, I do anyway. Depends on where you live, but that's what I've been doing. I've also been having, I don't know if you remember when I hurt my shoulder in the summer. It's still giving me a little bit of problems. It's just sort of, I got it cleared. I did, for anyone who asks or wonders or tells me not to, overdo it, I did do all the physical therapy and stuff and went through that, and I got the all clear. And then I don't know, I managed to get my hands on a 300 pounds Olympic weight set, which is good. I've been trying to do that for a while, but so I've been doing that, plus going out camping, and slowly, anyone who's been through it knows, like, you're all amped up doing all the stretches and stuff that the physical therapist gives you, and then just after a while you slowly start to do it less and less, and then it starts to hurt again. So that was where I was at, because I had chores to do. I also put some flooring in the crawl space above our garage for extra storage, all stuff that you don't want to hear about. And then I figured today I'd come out and take it easy, because I got to use the hot tent. I don't have to use it, but it's cool enough now. Again, we've had some unseasonably warm weather recently, the last week, so I'm going to use the hot tent, because knowing me, I've only used it once, and then the time I want to use it, it'll be like, wind will be blowing everywhere, there'll be snow, it'll be freezing cold, and I won't have the foggiest idea of how to put the thing together, and I'll be cursing myself for bringing the hot tent. So I figured it's a little cooler tonight, it's going to be 27 degrees, not a bad night to give it a try, see how it goes, get used to putting it together, you know what I mean, and then just take it easy and make sure I look after myself and hydrate all day. So this is my hot tent. This is the one I bought in the summer. I bought it, they didn't send it to me or anything like that. It's Luke's Megahorn 4-person tent with I believe it's their 3W stove. I bought it as like a kit, a bundle with the inner. I don't know, some of you might have seen my video in the summer where I used it briefly, but I didn't really talk about it that much and didn't really go through that much of the setup of the stove or anything like that. But my plan is to set it up right here in this little spot. I've only used it once, like I say, which I know makes me sound kind of ridiculous, but for me, I bought a hot tent for that one, that 1 week in, or not that 1 week, those weeks in like January, February, where it doesn't get out of the teens and I want to go camping, but the mind's telling me no, but my body, it's also telling me no. Like where it's just way too cold, but I want to go out and enjoy it and be out in the snow. So that'll be the 1 week I try and put it together, or the weeks when I try and put it together, and I'll be like cursing it because I'll be freezing. So better to get some muscle memory with it first and practice before I go out in those types of conditions. So that's what we're going to do now. We're going to set up the tent. The tent's fairly simple to set up, but the stove last time was kind of fiddly, so I'll go through that a bit more in detail. So with this pole, this is the top piece that goes through a grommet at the top of the teepee, but this piece here has a bunch of extra holes, and that is in case you're on snow and it sinks. So when you set it up on firm ground, put this piece in, and you want it in the last one, is what I saw anyway, which is complete guesswork, but right, we'll have to go top down. That one. There we go. Ooh. Not good. But come on, peg. See, I remember this problem with the pegs last time actually, because they're straight pegs, these new lightweight pegs. It comes with those straight, lightweight, tri-section, I don't know what you call them, pegs that most tents and stuff come with nowadays, but it's got such thick webbing straps where you're supposed to put them that they just slide up, unless you have your peg like this, which isn't the easiest way to get it in, and it doesn't get it deep enough to hold it. You'd be better off with traditional hook style pegs coming with it, or buying some to go with it. That's what I found both times I've put it up as well, because once you push it up, once you raise it, they just go up and slide off the top. That's the problem I had then. So I'm going to have to rejig these pegs a little bit. That's a bit better. They are adjustable, so you can adjust the tension on them. So maybe I need to just do them looser and then tighten them that way to start. Don't know if anyone remembers from last time I said I hated that web address that came along the bottom. You can see there, there where it was, and then also the big logo that was on there, and I just did that with a bit of nail polish remover. It was painted on there and it came off. Most of it anyway. I could still go over it again and get more off, but to me it's fine. It's just a little less obtrusive than it was. So now we've got to set up the stove, which was the fiddly bit last time. In fact, for the sake of right now this demonstration, might as well set it up on the back, or try and set it up on the back of the truck, which will be easier. Legs, greasy. This thing also comes with instructions on it, which is quite good. It's not that bad. Put together. It's the back, the front, top, bottom. Okay, so put the side. Oh, see what I mean? It's kind of a pain. Sides together first. And put the back on. Then we put the front on. So, and the top. Now this is the difficult bit. I've got the stove all put together, look. Wild Wild West stove for the Yorkshire Cowboy. For me, the hardest bit well, actually no, the stovepipe was the hardest bit last time, but you're going to run into that with any stove. But for this one, it was once I had the thing all together, trying to lift it up to put the legs on, was pain. Obviously it's just a piece of threaded rod, the wing nut goes on the bottom, and this silver or brass cap goes on the top once it goes through the hole. So we'll try it, see how it goes. Right, there's one hole. Should probably make sure all those are unscrewed first. See, that's what I mean, like you try and put the legs through. You try and find the hole and you're pushing on the other side. Maybe I can cap at least cap one end. No. See what I mean? It's a bit fidgety for my liking. Especially like in the winter. You're trying to stay warm. Right, we got the, actually that works, doing one side, get the back together first. So here's the thing with this, and this happened last time I put it together. I got the thing all put together. I don't know if you can see, there's a gap there where it's supposed to sit in the groove, and it pops out, and when I tightened it all up it just popped out. So now I gotta undo it all. See these tiny little wing nuts, and undo it, loosen it, and try and fit it in that gap without the whole thing then coming out and all these different pieces coming out. If you go watch Jeremy over at Lone Wolf 902, some of you might already know who he is, but if you don't, go check him out. He's got loads of hot tent stuff on his channel, like a lot of hot tent stuff, and I've seen like they've got those fast fold titanium stoves now where it's all one piece and it folds out and folds together, which I think will be better than this. I think they're probably, I don't know how much they cost, to be honest. I haven't looked into it. Like I say, I bought this one. And yeah, honestly, right now, I probably wouldn't have bought the stove with it, and I would have bought the tent and looked into a different type of stove. So, for anyone who's wondering about this stuff, this tent, keep that in mind. Another thing to keep in mind with this stove, like I say about the wing nuts and these things, is it's my personal experience that when it comes to winter camping, little things like that, like too many moving parts is going to be trouble, especially if you're not used to it and you're relying on it. Like, all it takes is for you to drop one of those wing nuts or one of these things in the snow, and all of a sudden your stove's out of action. So having more moving parts to something, I mean, my camping in general, I prefer simplicity to all this, because this is kind of a hassle. But yeah, so I would keep that in mind if I were you. If you're thinking about getting a hot tent or a wood stove, like if you've been looking at this one because a couple people said they were, like, I'm not a huge fan of that. If you remember my saw It used to have a wing nut on it, and I dropped that a couple times and almost lost that in the snow. So yeah, something to think about for sure. On the back side of this little bag, which I can't open with one hand whilst I'm holding the camera, comes your rings for stovepipe. That's your damper, and your spark arrestor goes in this. And then again, there's a little screw and a wing nut. Close this up. So I'll take that piece first. And you see how with this, I mean, I did get this tent more for hunting season to use with in-laws and friends and things like that, doing this type of camping, like car camping type stuff, because you see how much more difficult all of this would be without the bed of the truck or in deep snow. I mean, this tent is a bit too heavy. I think it weighs, the tent by itself is like 8 pounds. The stove is really light. The stove is like 2 or 3, but the tent itself weighs like 8 pounds. Oh, like my mother said, if I had a brain I'd be dangerous. Why didn't I just put the screw through that way the first time instead of messing with it on the other side? Hey, what do you know? You see that? See how I just dropped that wing nut like 3 times? That's deep snow. It's gone. It's gone. Before I well, just don't drop it then. Well, easier said than done. Right, that goes in the top of the stove with these bad boys. Damper on bottom, spark arrestor on the top. So we'll stick that in there first, and then we'll do the stovepipe. Stovepipe sticking out. Not convinced this hot tent thing's for me. Well, actually I shouldn't say that. For what I bought it for, you know, like I say, if I was going to do what I originally bought it for is like, you know, doing like a 5-day, 4-day, week-long hunting trip. You know, where if you're out all day when it's been cold and you just want somewhere warm to come back to and you've been out for a while, I think it's fine. It's great, but for all the setup to just do an overnight trip, it's a bit too much. With that one anyway, like I say, this is the only one I've tried, and I don't know if there's better ones out there or ones that are easier to set up until I actually get a chance to use them. But we'll see. Once I get it ripping and it's nice and toasty warm in there, I'm sure I'll change my tune on it. I'll be like, hot tent camping's great, I'm gonna do this every week. I brought wood because it says to only use dry wood and it rained yesterday, so I just want to be safe rather than sorry. But the pieces that I've got are too long, so best bet is do the old hold it betwixt the legs with the saw and use fingers. Jalapenos on there. Boom. One more little sprinkle just to tie it all together. Well, I do have to admit, it's pretty... Oh, hang on. Yeah, baby. Cheers, guys. I have to admit, it is pretty nice and warm in here. Like, there's a couple times I've had to go out to the truck. Well, actually, there's just once I forgot my other camera battery, which I finally got. And yeah, it's much warmer in here now that I got the thing ripping. The thing I got to be careful of is, like I say, this is only the second time using it, and the first time using it in the cold is when those when it dies down and it's not got a flame. Like, every time I would open the door, smoke would just billow out, which isn't good. That's the last thing you want. But yeah, another thing, obviously, I hit 40,000 subscribers. We hit 40,000 subscribers this past week, and yeah, I just want to say thank you to everyone. It's a big thank you, and because of that, I want to do something nice. I know this has been a pretty crappy year for people, and selfishly, it's been a fairly good year for me in terms of this channel. So I'm going to do a little giveaway, and I'm going to give away my timer for the pizza. I'm going to give away, I bought brand new, two things I get asked about most is my tarps and the saw, the Agua Canyon saw, the folding saw. So I have an Agua Canyon folding saw to give away, and I have a brand new AquaQuest 10x10 tarp to give to one of you. And literally, this isn't one of those like, oh, just do this, and this. This is you don't have to do anything. If you're already subscribed to the channel, if you've been a subscriber, then I'm just gonna pick two people at random. I was going to give it all to one person, but then why not spread it out? So I'm just going to pick two people at random. As long as I can get a hold of you somehow, I'll send it to you, and then as long as if I can't get hold of you, you can't get hold of me or whatever, then I'll pick someone else. Simple. So thank you guys, I really appreciate it. Pizza smells like it's burning, but yeah. So I'll probably announce that in the next video, next overnight trip I do. So stay tuned for that. Looks fairly melty. I can smell it's burning, or maybe that's just the cheese that was in there that's burning. Not very crispy. Maybe the bottom is though. Smells like burnt toast, so. Oh yeah, the bottom's burnt. The bottom is nice and burnt. So I was just speaking to the camera for like 5 minutes, and I just looked and realised it wasn't even recording. That's about me, but yeah. Pizza's done. It's not that bad on the bottom. It's got a nice crunch to it. A nice crunch to it. Last time I did it on hot coals, and you can put the enamel, or if you have a metal plate, put that over the pan and then put hot coals on top as well, and that helps to cook the top a little better. But it's just a raised edge that's a little doughy, but it's good, really good. The nice thing is I have a couple of these crusts, mini crusts, and plenty of toppings, so I can make a couple of these if I want to. Oh, hot cheese. Hot cheese. Yeah, pizza and beer. But anyway, I'm gonna relax, chill out, and I will probably get with you guys in the morning or something. Well, good morning. As you can see, I'm in a truck. That did not go as planned. This is the only sleeping bag I had with me, which is my 15-degree sleeping bag, but the comfort range, the lower comfort range, I think, if I remember rightly, is like 32 degrees Fahrenheit, so around 0 degrees Celsius. And it was in my bag because I packed my bag with the hopes of going on a trip earlier in the week when the temperature at night was supposed to be like 45 degrees, and I forgot this was the one that was in my bag. And yeah, it got much colder than 27 degrees, as you can see by the temperature on the truck. Yeah, it got down more towards like 21. It was cold. I think I was in the tent till midnight, maybe. And it wasn't warm in there. It just was not warm in there. I was cold. It was really cold, actually. I mean, the stove was kicking out heat, but I don't know. Obviously, heat rises, so it's like, do you feel like all the heat's up here and it's still just cold down where I was, like on the floor? I couldn't really feel that much heat coming off it where I was. I don't know if it also, like, because it does drafts underneath, whether, I know it's got those snow flaps on the bottom where in colder weather you properly bury it in the snow so no air gets in. So maybe that's another reason why it was getting cold, because I know obviously fire needs oxygen, right? So the stove itself will be pulling air in from the outside, which maybe makes me cold down bottom. But like you say, it was much colder and it wasn't that warm in that tent. It was fine before I got into bed and I was sat up in the chair, like I say, and I was higher up, but once I was lying down I was cold and I just couldn't get warm, and I just, like I say, I slept a little bit till about midnight. I just could not get warm, even when I stoked the fire up in that stove, and I bailed and got in the truck. People always say, well, like when I do the truck camping videos, I always get comments because normally I sleep under the tonneau cover, like why I don't sleep in the cab, or the cab's insulated and stuff like that. Like, like I tell everyone else here, I'm 6 foot tall. Like, I can touch the sides. But everything hurts right now. My knee hurts. Both my knees hurt. My shoulder hurts. My neck hurts because I'm literally like, no matter what I do, I'm curled up in the same position. No matter what I do, I'm curled up in the same position. Like, if I started by sleeping in the driver's seat, putting that all the way back, but then I end up hunched over like this, and then eventually I got in the back seat, but the back seat is angled, so I ended up sleeping in, like, curled up, sliding my head down to the side. It's not comfortable at all. I'm like, wasn't for the fact it'd be just as cold under the tonneau cover, it's better sleeping in the bed than it is in here. I get much better sleep under there, but then I can't sleep under there unless it's comfortable temperature, because otherwise that thing, like right now, if it's 21 degrees outside, it's like a refrigerator. It's just a box of metal. It'd be even colder under there. Oh, I'm sore. I'm stiff. I need to get out of this. That's the that's the problem with sleeping in the truck. Is I've been turning the heat on every time I wake up, and I'm cold, and now it's warm in here, and I got to get out and pack away all the tent and stove and stuff. So that's what I'm gonna do. So yeah, I need to have a word with some people. I need to figure out what is going on with this tent, why I can't get it warm, do some more research, and see how that goes. But I'm glad I did this in a more controlled environment first and got used to how it got. But I'm glad I did this now in a more controlled environment and tested it out before I took it out on like a longer trip, or a trip where it was much colder, and ended up feeling like even worse, and having, took it out somewhere a bit more remote without I can't speak. I can't speak. Campbell, I can't speak. Tired. Did not sleep much. I'm trying to say is I'm glad I did this now in this type of environment, so I got used to it and I understood its limitations before I took it out in worse conditions and really regretted it. At least I had a fail-safe to do this time, which makes me feel better about it. I didn't freeze all night, but I'm not too convinced on this hot tent thing so far. I know it's always going to be user error. I'm sure of it. I'm sure it's going to be my fault, and I've got to look into it a bit more. But for right now, with all the setup and all the processing for the firewood, like, I don't know how convinced I am, because I could have, with firewood you just have a big long fire and you don't have to do all that cutting and splitting and all the rest of it. You just, once the fire's ripping, just throw pieces on, and I feel like that kicks out. Oy vey, that kicks out more heat than that little stove. So sorry, there's been a lot of talking in this video. I feel like some videos require more talking than others, and some videos less. So it's one of those videos, but thank you very much for watching. I will be announcing which ones of you get the saw on the tarp in the next video. Hopefully it will be sooner rather than later. And until then, I will see you on the next one. Take it easy.